Hey guys, how are you? Hope everything is well. Yeah, last minute stream. I'm trying to discipline myself to do more streams but shorter. So instead of 1 hour, half hour, etc. How is everybody doing? Let's see what we got here. Is that boat from Gilligan's Island? Salam from Tunisia, North Africa. Salam. Thanks for coming. Belfast, Florida. Hey man, San Diego. What are we doing? What are we doing? All right, I hope everything is well. I am. I've been looking at blockchain tech a little bit more recently, and just very, very superficially. And I think it's starting to come into practical application. I'm starting to see implementation of blockchain beyond just a crypto that you buy and invest in or trade in. So that's kind of cool. So one of the things I want to point out, what I found really interesting was non-fungible tokens. I don't know how many people here are aware of these things, but I'm just going to go over very quickly. Then we'll do a little Q&A. So a non-fungible token is a unit of data stored on a digital ledger. Call it a blockchain. That's the blockchain. That certifies a digital asset to be unique and therefore not interchangeable. NFTs can be used to represent items such as photos, videos, audio, and other types of digital files. So let's see what Google has to say here. Simply put, non-fungible tokens, NFTs, are digital blockchain tokens that represent ownership of unique items, whether digital or physical. NFTs can represent real estate, art, music, even cask of whiskey. Another popular use case of NFTs around items in digital games. All right. What is NFT stock? A non-fungible item is a one-of-a-kind item that can't be replaced by something else. NFTs allow someone to buy or sell unique pieces of digital art, and the buyer is the only one in the world that owns that original piece. So we get the idea of what it is. Now, so I've been hearing, I don't know how many people out there have heard about this stuff, but I've been hearing more and more about how these NFTs are really starting to gain traction in terms of valuations. People are buying them for X and they're selling them for 5X. Even the NBA is getting in on that game. So I was listening to a podcast. They were discussing NFTs recently. It was interesting. They were talking about how people, I don't know, maybe 40 and older, it's such a new concept for them. And they would, typically an older person might value, for example, a physical comic book where, and they would argue that the physical unique comic book, the collector's item, like Action Comics, number one, would be more valuable because it's physical. It could be destroyed. It could lose value. It should be, the other copies could disintegrate over time or get burnt in a fire. So because it's unique, because it's physical, it has a certain value. Whereas younger generations who grew up in the internet, they look at NFTs in a different way. They see NFTs as being more valuable because they can never be destroyed. They're preserved in the blockchain. It's uniquely identified as yours, so it can't be stolen, or it's very difficult to be stolen. It can't be destroyed. It can be transferred around. It's very cool. It's also a cool opportunity as NFT for artists, digital artists. Apparently, famously, this digital artist just sold a piece for millions of dollars. And the way it's set up, basically, it's kind of like an equalizer, if you will. It's a fair way of exchange of artwork for the digital artist, in the sense that, so if I create a piece of digital artwork, like a lizard wizard token, and I sell it for whatever, $100, and then you hold it, and then whatever, a year later, 5 years later, for whatever reason, it goes up in value, you sell it for $1,000. The way the NFT can be set up is that I will get a piece of that resale. So whatever, 10%. So you sell for $1,000, I get $100 from that $1,000 sale, and you get the other 900. So, and this can go on down the chain. So this could preserve, the value, if you will, or the residuals, if you will, for the original artist. It's very interesting stuff. So you can use this in all kinds of different applications. So why do I bring it up? Not so much as an investment opportunity, although that may be the case, but I'm just thinking about it in terms of just development, software development, how NFT technologies might be implemented by small and medium and large businesses. Like the NBA is now using NFT to sell original clips of dunks and stuff like that. I could see how other companies might want to implement an NFT for their e-commerce site. It's very interesting. So a few years ago, I said blockchain had a future, but it was kind of early. I thought, but now I think that you're starting to see some real world application in terms of that technology. So it's something to look at. I'm not saying drop everything. Oh my God, blockchain, but it's just something that I think is starting to come of age in the real world and in a functional way, which bodes well for the whole blockchain, the whole crypto space, if you will. How humans attribute value to things is a very interesting dynamic. So, for example, my friend likes buying Rolex watches. So he'll buy like a $10,000 Rolex, and he's shown me a bunch of watches he has, and he bought one for like 10 grand, and 3 years later it's worth 20 grand. Now, it's just a watch, right? We don't need a watch, but people don't buy a Rolex because it's a watch that tells time. They buy it for a whole bunch of other intangible reasons. And, whether it's a watch that sits on your wrist or whether it's a unique piece of digital art that exists in a blockchain, it all depends on what the culture decides is valuable or not. I'll give you another example. About 10, 15 years ago, I was talking to an art dealer, third generation art dealer up here in Canada. And he would go down to New York to bid on stuff with his father in the 60s. And he was telling me at the time that Chinese antiquities were just starting to skyrocket in value. And the reason being is that at that point in time, the Chinese started becoming wealthy. So as you had more and more wealthy Chinese, they started buying up all their artifacts, all their Chinese, and they started bidding the price up. And he was telling me at the time, you want to concentrate on the tippy top culture. So he said, if you want to buy artwork, you buy it from China, not from Vietnam or Cambodia or Thailand. You buy from China because China is the superpower in Asia. Just like he was saying, if you buy artwork, he said, don't buy local Quebec artists. They will never go up in value. You want to buy like the big names from Europe or the big names out of the US. But anyway, all that to say, how we attribute value to the blockchain, to NFTs, to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, Litecoin, etc. A lot of it is driven by social dynamics and psychology. So, you know what? Now that I mentioned that, I'm gonna plug Lizard Wizard here. So what you got to do is you should go here. Links are below. Go to newsletter.savannmishchuk/Komodo. And this is free. This is a Lizard Wizard training. So you're going to learn you're going to start learning how to train your brain. This right here, this Lizard Wizard Komodo is free. I do have a Lizard Wizard course, which is not free, but it's only $20. So, it's not going to break the bank. So anyway, so there, Lizard Wizard Komodo if you want to learn how to train your mind. Anyhow, so that's it. That's what's interesting about blockchain. I think there's actual practical application that's coming out in all kinds of ways. And honestly, I never considered an NFT. So now it's out there. So it's something to look at. I can see how you might be able to sell that to clients, the whole technology space. Trying to survive from Rio de Janeiro. We'll survive, dude. Keep your distance. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Guitar Jam says, coding is really starting to click for me. Congrats. Cool, man. Thanks for always motivating chat. Have you used 3JS, by the way? Tons of fun. I would have to take a look at that. That's cool, man. Just keep at it. It's like anything else, you just got to keep writing that code. It will come. From the Netherlands, from London, from New York. It's Saturday night. Palm Springs in the blazing hot California. Very good. Greetings. How are you? From Serbia. How we do? I was looking at blockchain with Python the other day. Very cool. Yeah, we can discuss it tomorrow in the live stream and the Zoom meeting. Stefan, what do you know about NFTs and with regards to music? Well, I could see it as a way for musicians to better potentially monetize their tracks. So you may, for example, I'm just thinking, let's say you have music, and let's say you start developing some sort of following with your music. You could come up with tracks that are only released on as NFTs, maybe unique tracks, new unique mixes that you could sell and people can circulate. That might be an option as well, you know. So I think it's because of video production capabilities, because of audio production, because of distribution through networks like YouTube and Instagram, whatever, and now NFTs. There's no better time in history than to be a creator of some sort. There's no gatekeepers. It's purely your ability to grab attention. And now with the NFT infrastructure that's developed, there's yet another way for you to distribute and make money from your efforts, whether it be music or artwork or whatnot. So cool, man. Nicholas Hernandez says, super excited to hear about blockchain. It has definitely piqued my interest lately. Yeah, it's something worth looking into. I am drinking risky and rye whiskey right now. Very cool, man. I am looking at it a little bit. We're minor positioning into some crypto, not a traditional investment. I won't get into it right now, but so we're doing a little bit. This is why C++ is here to stay. Well, without a doubt, the top 10 languages are not going to go away, and C++ is one of the top 10. It's at the heart of much of this infrastructure, and now with blockchain gaining more momentum, there's no question this language isn't going anywhere. No, it had no chance. Even without blockchain, C++ was not going to go anywhere. So does an NFT give a number to an item so you can track it? Yeah, apparently it has a unique ID. Exactly. So it's trackable, etc. My worry about NFTs is that there's a very weak link between the hash block, which linked to the URL, and what the URL contains now and later. I don't know. I have to take a look at that. I'm not even close to being an expert in NFT, but perhaps that's the case. Age jokes are for Joe Biden. Come on, man. Can't beat out physical art, in my opinion. Well, that's it. It depends on who's talking, right? Action Comics #1, first appearance of Superman, exactly. A hashed block may refer to the URL of the digital art, but once minted, that could easily either contain something else or cease to exist altogether. Yes, perhaps. I don't dispute that. I just don't know. Overly attached girlfriend just sold a pic of herself for $411,000. Really? Overly attached girlfriend just sold a pic of herself for $411,000. Is that really true, David E? Is this your girlfriend or somebody else? I think the linkage between the hash block within the token and the content of the URL needs more work. Perhaps. I don't dispute that. Chris says, but is there any actual tangible value to buying NFTs aside from just being able to say, I am a unique owner of the original product? Again, they're selling quite well. The NBA is on this. It's a weird thing, the attribution of value to things. Like, I would never pay $10,000 or $20,000 for a Rolex watch, but a lot of people would. Hey, Christy, how are you? Aloha from Hawaii. Yes, looked into NFTs. Yeah, we should talk about that tomorrow during the Zoom meeting. So if I make a song and NFT it, I can sell it through yeah, exactly. Something to that effect. You can do that. I have not done that, but I'm going to look at that a little bit more. My suggestion is that there should be a kind of holographic encoding of the NFT content rather than simply pointing to an external URL. The external URL might well contain an unholographed thing. There we go. Ian knows much more about NFT than I do, that's for sure, by the looks of it. But when it holographed, it matches and can only match the hashed block of the token's pointer to the external representation. Yeah. I'm just reading. I have no comment. Are you bullish on Ethereum? I have not looked at like, I don't have an opinion about the cryptos in terms of whether a particular crypto is going to go up or down. I don't know. I'm just now much more bullish on crypto tech. I'm seeing implementations that are deriving value. That's all. China owns most of the world's debt. That's potentially true. In my opinion, the true value of NFTs in art and music is not so much as a rare representation of a thing, but rather as a verification type of proof that it is not a forgery. That's about all. Now, it could be. Yeah, I want to own a Bob Ross. Yeah. Well, there isn't none. There isn't none right now. But I get confused about where the assurance that someone will want to buy an NFT. In fact, we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. Yeah. Happy little stress. Lizzy Wizzy. The high prices will blow over. In my opinion, the industry will swing around to using NFTs as simply as a seal of authenticity, and that's all. I'm able to build a responsive modern portfolio using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I am qualified to get a job or training in a company, or should I learn more? It's been 5 months since the start. What I would do now is I go out there and do a couple of free jobs for small businesses, build something, and build it from start to finish. And that's going to go along. And then once you have 2 or 3 of those under your belt, you'll be able to walk into a job and land a job much more easily than you would otherwise. Oh, Ian has another comment here. Oh, and one more thing. All the NFTs how-to guides out there seem only to suggest using MetaMask, which is browser-based. This isn't particularly secure, and if you wipe your computer, your keys go. Okay, that's no good. You can't transfer your keys off your machine, though? Hi, your streams have got me really interested in doing your Python course, as it is the only language I know the basics in. Will Python alone, with the help of your course, be great to start a career? It's a good first language to get into. There's a whole bunch of things that sort of lead into it. Get my Python course. It's going to open up your eyes to programming and Python for sure. Then after that, there's other specializations you can get into and so on. But yeah, you're going to learn a lot there quickly. Greetings from the Pacific Northwest. Hey, how you doing, man? Almost no how-to guides for NFT tell you how to use your own hardware wallet. Huh, that's interesting. What do you recommend when writing the README file? What do you recommend when writing README? Keep it simple and keep it priority based. So indicate when somebody is about to use your application, map out what's priority for a typical new user. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. If you give me a thumbs up, so I appreciate it. That is good for the Google algorithm. What's your prediction on AngularJS? It's going to stay around for a while. I think the dominant 2 players are going to be eventually, React is dominant now, and I think Vue will come up. Blockchain seems like one of those things that lots of people talk about, but many don't really understand. Pretty much. I count myself as one of them. I'm just starting to see implementations. That's why I've decided to bring it up in this stream. Any blockchain courses you recommend? No, I do not know. I am a self-taught with blockchain, Ethereum, etc., and expands developing a dApp. How would I capitalize this on the side in MTL? I don't know, man. Again, it's a brand new market, but I see utility now. And so you're going to have to figure that one out. I don't know enough about the tech and deeply to comment on that. But I gave some scenarios in terms like, for example, perhaps you can provide services where you can have musicians be able to distribute some of their unique pieces, if you will, on the blockchain, or store them there. And you can create systems where they can create commerce via blockchain distribution. That might be something, imagine you got hundreds of musicians or digital artists where you provide that kind of service or that kind of tool to help them do all this. Just like in a sense where web designers will help people deploy a WordPress site or to help them set up an e-commerce system, That might be an opportunity there. And if you're one of the first to do it in the space, a lot less competition and a lot more chance for work, right? Okay, that makes some sense. That's interesting. Okay, Yusuf. Learn Python or C++ for blockchain. Well, if you don't know how to program, I would learn Python first because it's just more approachable, and then it will help you to more quickly jump into C++. I don't have an opinion on that right now. A rapper made 1 million in a day on OnlyFans. There you go. You don't NFT to a URL, you NFT to a hash of the item. No, it's not an NFT pic of overly attached girlfriend. It really is sold for 411K. Do you really like programming? Do I really? Are you talking to me, or is your JavaScript for beginners or for intermediate? Mine is for beginners, and it takes you to intermediate level coder. It's for absolute beginners. I assume for all my courses, you're an absolute beginner. Whether you do the Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, PHP. So with the JavaScript course, I'm assuming you're a total beginner. And I also assume you know a little HTML and maybe a smidgen of CSS. Don't have to know much CSS. Off topic, non-blockchain, most satisfying software developer related job. I like when I was writing code actively, I manage now. When I was writing code, I just like producing software that people used. It was kind of gratifying to see that. What do you think of GL, SL, its respective limitations? I do not have an opinion. I'm not aware of that. Q, what do you call... Oh boy. Hi, Stef. From the UK, I'm writing this comment in Ruby, so the comment is taking too long. Okay. Enough of that joke. The problem with content on the internet nowadays is that it's created by every other guy, not by experts. So you need to sift through loads of low quality to find something worth reading. Yeah, for sure. That's the problem with courses. That's the problem with everything. I talk about that a lot. The problem today is unbelievable amounts of information. Too much. So your problem as somebody who's seeking out information is finding credible sources, finding people and sources that that are reliable. That's a difficult thing. There's no question about that. Python can get you work with Django and Wagtail and Bootstrap or React front end. There you go. Can I get a discount? Sure. Send me. You know what? I'll put up a coupon, and you just email whoever wants a coupon. Send me for whatever course. Even the mentoring, I'll do that tonight. I feel generous. Send me an email, Stefan at Studioweb. If you're smart enough, if you're quick enough to do that, I will send you a discount code. Hey, Michael, how are you, man? Welcome. Hello, Steph. Hope you're doing great. I'm doing pretty good. I broke down today, though. I had a Big Mac. I like to taste the Big Macs, but I can only take them in very small quantities. So there's like a brick in my gut right now. How much harder is game dev and web dev? Thank you. They're equally difficult, just in different ways. That's all. How did you know Princess Diana had a dandruff? Oh boy. Are you really 169 years old or just 29-year-old IT worker? Hello, Abazi Ziad. Welcome to the stream. Hi from Tunisia. How would you be able to do a 30-minute video chat Q&A about learning to program, like on Teams, Skype, Zoom? Well, you know what? You don't need to pay me. I'll show you something here. Hold on. If you go here, there's a link below, Coder Career Path webinar. It's free, 29-minute video. It talks about all the languages, all the different jobs you can have, and how working as a JavaScript programmer is different from working as a C++ programmer, as an example. So yeah, go there. The link is just below. Coder Career Path, sign up, and you get access to a free webinar. That will answer a lot of those questions. So there you go. Ian's chiming in. All right. Do you think it's always necessary for your business to be a passion of yours, or just that it's viable and solves a problem for others? Good question. The reason people say the business should be a passion is because it's going to be, inevitably you're going to hit hard points. You're going to hit bumps in the road with your business. And if you don't like what you're doing, it's going to be really hard to deal with those hard points, those hard parts. That's all it is. Now, some people are disciplined enough to continue working through the business, even if it's not necessarily the exact type of business that they like to do. I tell you what, though, I learned this in my very first business, and I started my first company when I was 18. When the company starts to mature and starts to churn, oftentimes it's the business process that takes over, and the underlying product or service that you originally started the business for becomes secondary, if that makes any sense. Here we go. The plug begins. Thanks for all you do, Stef. Your Python course is great. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. If you don't, don't take my word for it. Just go to Google and type in Studioweb Montreal or Stefan Mishuk, and you can see all my reviews, and you can decide for yourself whether you think my course are worth it. Where can I find the link to your WordPress freelancing course? Also, I've heard some devs talk negatively about WordPress. Do you think I should avoid WordPress if I still have a lot to learn? No, WordPress, listen, WordPress has its problems, but it's such a huge ecosystem. There's so much work in WordPress world. Now, some people hate it. Some people make a lot of money with it and there's no problem with it. It's all depends on what you like to do or don't like to do. So just give it a go. If you just go to studioweb.com, there's a link to the store, and you can find my freelance course. My freelance course will teach you all about freelancing, and WordPress could be any part of that. The people that wanted a coupon, you're on the slide doing the KOMODO. Yeah. Okay, I think I got that. Ethan, hello, Stefan. I'm starting to do JavaScript projects, so how can I learn from tutorial projects, or do I have to create the project on my own? I would just start doing work. Once you're comfortable with JavaScript and the web stack, I would just start doing projects, man. Just jump into it. Stefan, how do you pronounce tabarnak? Well, the French Canadian way would be tabarnak. Tabarnak, like that. 30, 40 years ago, tabarnak was like the equivalent of the N-word in Quebec. Today, it's like, nobody cares. They laugh. Is PHP still relevant in 2021? Yes, very much so. It's always in the top 10 most used programming languages in the world. PHP is always in that top 10, usually somewhere in the middle, like 5 or 6. Most of the web is still PHP, about 80%, yeah. Don't forget to press the like, everyone. Yes, that's true. Guys, come on, give me a likes. Come on. That's all I ask. I enjoyed the walk through Montreal today. One day I want to visit. Yeah, you should come. Yeah, I did a live stream today on Instagram, and the streets. I was downtown Montreal, right in the car, and I was just live streaming on my walk around. What books would you recommend to increase productivity? Before I forget. All right, so if you are a developer with some skill, some ability, links below. This is the book I recommend. This is one of the most important books ever written for software developers. This is the Java version. It's a JavaScript version. You learn to refactor. It's one of the key skills in software development. Refactoring is a skill set, refactoring. You will level up your game in a big way. So this book is highly recommended. This is the Java version. And if you're a total beginner and you want to get into web design development and just coding in general, you can check out my book. Highly regarded. Go to amazon.com.uk, etc., and you can find my book. I think it's almost all 5-star reviews. I wrote this years ago, but I wrote it to be evergreen, so everything in here is still relevant. Lots of pictures and diagrams, and it's a good way, if you like to read, to get into coding. This is the hard copy version. There is no NFT version yet. In terms of other types of productivity, you should do my my Lizard Wizard course. Lizard Wizard KOMODO is a good one here. Just go newsletterstevadmischuk.com/KOMODO. It's free. You start training your brain with lizard technique. And yeah, that's it. So there you go. I will help with your productivity. Who is the GOAT, Khabib or George St. Pierre? That's a good question. It depends. It depends how. You have to get him in the ring, because George was really very dependent on his physicality and his awesome physicality, if you will. And we'll see. I don't know. You would know. I have no opinion right now. I would have to see them both together, and you would know pretty quickly if George can overpower Khabib. I don't know if they'll ever fight though, because George is getting pretty old, I think. For Stef, you're very insightful and very helpful, especially on the business development side of things. Thanks. Not a problem, Mr. Grossman. Glad I could help. Thank you, Stefan. I was really stuck on what course of yours to take. First, I also was wondering if is there support if I get stuck or confused while doing your courses. Yeah, you could always reach out to me, but the courses are very well refined. They're Studioweb ones. You got instant help built into my platform. And I rarely get questions because I've been teaching for a long time, so I know how to build a course. But yeah, don't worry, I'm here. Look, you're talking to me now. I make money with WordPress, but I hate it. Wagtail is better. There you go. Let's see. David says, say I wanted to reference someone's course on my website as a good learning resource, such as your course. How does that work? Do I need permission? No, not at all. I appreciate it, in fact. Yeah, if you let people know, I appreciate that. Well, by the way, last shameless plug, about a year ago, I started a mentoring program. And so we got a core group, and it's gone very well. So now I'm bringing in new people now. So you just go to studioweb.com/mentoring. Links is below the video. You can check it out. This is my most premium training. You get all of this. We're updating, adding new content on a regular basis. We have Zoom meetings. You can check it out. But yeah, so you can read the reviews as well here. Yeah, so check out my mentoring program if you want the most comprehensive training with me. That's it right there for you. Link below the video. Should I work for a company before approaching freelance? No, you don't have to. Or is it fine to start freelancing before getting any experience from a company? It's totally fine. As I said, the process is learn your foundations, do 2 to 3 free projects to gain some experience, and then get your site up there and start making money. As a 53-year-old from the UK who's been building PCs all my life, if I wanted to cut the bow and go for the money in programming, which languages would be most profitable right now? WebStack, HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, probably back-end PHP. PHP is king of freelancing. So I'm suggesting freelancing at 53. Give you a lot more flexibility. Yeah. Although you could get a job. So that's the king of freelancing is the web stack, by far. But other languages and stacks, could be the web with Node.js and JavaScript, could be the web with Python, Django, etc. It could be mobile, maybe with iOS development. That could be a thing. But again, if you want to freelance, which would be my first instinct for you, would be to go that route. And you can be up and running, making money within a couple months. I've seen people do it. Again, don't take my word for it. Just go to Google Studioweb, Montreal, or just Studioweb. Will probably, depending on where you are in the world, you'll find me or not, or Studioweb Stefan, and you see what other people are saying about everything that I do. Sorry, distracted there for a second. PHP and jQuery you need to know if you want to start in the web. Yeah, just the basics of jQuery. Just got into startup. Oh, cool. Just got into a startup company. The code base is looking scary. Any advice for me, good sir? Welcome to the world of software development. When you got tight budgets, when you got tight deadlines, all the academic stories that you see on YouTubes and the academics tell you about go right out the window. Write simple code, refactor code as you go. Try to keep the code simple and try to convince the rest of the team that they need to refactor on a regular basis. Refactoring is just basically cleaning up code, simplifying it. You do it as you go. So maybe guys should refactor, while you're writing, you refactor, but maybe once a week you spend half a day going through the code that you just wrote over the week and refactor that, okay? But cool. Matthew says, Montreal is such a beautiful city. I wanted to go live with you. I was in downtown San Diego while you were live. I wanted to go live with you. I was in downtown while you were live. Okay. Yeah, downtown's cool. That was just the main drag I showed you. It's pretty, like 5 minutes from where I live. What is the best book for design patterns in C#? I don't know. But I think design patterns are universal, by the way. Design patterns are not, you get a book on design patterns for Java, most, like 98% of the design patterns will be applicable to C#, If you go to JavaScript, again, the principles are, like, they're 99% the same, So if you can't find a design patterns book in C#, which I imagine you can, but if you couldn't, I could just grab a Java one. What's the difference between JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, and ES6 JavaScript? I researched but haven't gotten a clear answer. ES6 is just a newer version. It was a version of JavaScript that came out in 2015. It's like an add-on, if you will. And it was put out to make JavaScript cleaner and easier to write, less bug-prone. It's got things... I don't know if you know anything about JavaScript, but it's got new ways of declaring variables that allow you to predict the value of the variables. You got shorthand methods of creating functions. You got proper class definitions. I don't know if you know anything about JavaScript, but basically ES6 is there to improve JavaScript, to make it cleaner. Most medium-sized e-commerce related businesses are looking for PHP devs like crazy in Europe. There you go. But if you start from scratch, I really feel like recommending Flutter nowadays. Depends on the project. San Diego has the best weather in the USA. Is it San Diego or Malibu? Does blockchain have a future? Big time future, I think. I wish I was there. Okay. Have you heard of Dojo Coding Bootcamp? If so, do you have any opinion about its training? Its training, in my opinion, is far inferior to Studioweb training. But I'm biased because I own Studioweb. So it depends, So I don't have an opinion on Dojo Coding. I've never seen it. But all I know is Studioweb does students very well. What do you think of all of that buzz here in Brazil about Canada always want professionals from other countries? We always hear this a lot on Brazilian channels selling that idea. Canada wants you. Could be, I don't know, since I'm Canadian. But you would have to apply and see what the Canadian consulate has to say, Ross Toon says, I work a ton with PHP, but not with frameworks. What frameworks would you recommend? Laravel, PHP Laravel. Blockchain has a lot of future behind the scenes in inglamorous things like counterfeit prevention, authenticity, tracking, everyday products. Boring, but happening now everywhere. So there you go. 3 years ago, you said blockchain doesn't have much value because companies can just build their own. Well, the blockchain, like Ethereum, I was wrong about that. Now that the cryptocurrency market is worth more than Apple, do you still have the same opinion? I totally admit that. At the time, I was skeptical of it, but I also said you never know, you don't know what's going to happen. But was I expecting Bitcoin to go to 60,000 USD? No, not at all. So I don't have a crystal ball, but it is what it is. How do I join the mentoring program? I want to meet people like Richard and Dee. I'm glad I could help. Hello from Montreal. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming. How are we doing here? Off-topic question. Did you watch El Clasico today, laugh aloud? No, I did not. Steph, will you do PHP Laravel courses in the future? I don't have anything. I don't have anything planned right now. I have many other things going on. RIP DMX, yes, indeed. I am 89 years old. Steph will add a course of any framework. Steph will add a course. I'm adding some new stuff soon. I don't like doing framework courses because once you understand my fundamentals, once you do my fundamentals training, especially with the new stuff that's coming out soon, you won't need me. You'll be able to learn pretty easily on your own with just the docs, like or a quick YouTube 10-minute video, you know. So one of the reasons I don't like doing frameworks, and I'll be totally transparent about this, frameworks change. So let's say I don't know what Laravel is at now, but let's say it was at 3.8. I don't know, for the sake of argument. Let's say Laravel's at Laravel 4. And I do a tutorial on Laravel 4, and 4.1 comes out, and they change some key things. Then I got to go back and change the bloody course. It's a lot of work. But when I teach JavaScript, JavaScript hasn't changed in many years. HTML hasn't changed in years. CSS hasn't changed in years, except for some minor little things. You know what I mean? Same with PHP. You know, if you get a PHP 5 course, rather, you know 90% of what you're, 95% of what you're going to need to know for PHP 8, right? Especially in the fundamentals. So there's a reason why I don't do, that's one of the reasons anyways, because I don't want to have to keep updating things every 2 minutes, because that's what happens with frameworks. Also because there's so many, you know, there's so many how to set up a Laravel in 10-minute videos out there, right? I hope that makes sense. How are we doing for time? Oh, 50 minutes. All right, so we're going to be wrapping this up. Is C# a difficult language for JS developers to learn? No, you should be able to learn it fairly quickly. Probably which language for blockchain? I'm guessing C++, but I'm not. What's your take on game engines? I think those are very niche projects to work on, right? How many game engines do you need? All right. Rust might be something for blockchain. Now that I think about it, that's a good point. Yeah. My friend he's a C++, he's amazing. He's a really highly experienced C++ coder. Been doing it for what, 15 years or 20 years now. I forget now. And I guess about 15. And he much prefers Rust over C++ himself. I don't have an opinion because I haven't programmed in any of those languages. All right, guys, thanks for coming to the stream. If you like this stream, you like the style, please give me a thumbs up. I'm trying to keep these shorter so that I can do them more often. And anybody, all the people part of the mentoring group, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the Zoom meeting. So with that, we are going to go to the ASMR video here. All right, we'll talk soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, how you doing? So, look what I got in the mail today. Woo! So let's see what I got in the mail. Oh. Believe it or not, wait a second. I got my own book. Web design start here. That's weird. Hold on a second. See, there's two editions of my book. There's one that's called Web Design Start Here, and another one that says Build Your Website Now. And strangely enough, I thought I ordered the one that said Build Your Website Now, and they sent me this one. I already have a copy of this. This is the new copy I bought. It's still purchasable. I wrote this book years ago, but it's still 100% evergreen, good stuff. And yeah, if you want to learn the basics of web design and coding, I can highly recommend this book. I know the author personally. Hey, everybody.